Hi class, this is Nakia Manning from the Intro to Communication class. Um, if you can tell, I don't record myself talking a lot. Um, I really wanted to be really pretty for this video and comb my hair and have on makeup and dress all pretty, but this is who I am. It's Saturday. It's been a long day, and I just kind of want to reflect on this class really quick. Um, before intro to communication class, my perception of communication was very simple. It was how you expressed yourself to others via speaking. Um, that's just what I knew about it. Aside from that, I knew I wasn't really good at it. From someone who doesn't have a lot of friends and not a significant other right now, I would say I suck pretty bad at communication. After taking the intro to communication class, I now understand that communication is a vast subject area. I have notes here just in case I forget what I'm talking about, but it can be beneficial to your personal and professional life if you work at becoming a competent communicator. I'll say that. Um, One of the most important forms of communication that I learned about that I had never even considered a form of communication was what they call intrapersonal communication. Um, this is your self talk, the conversations that you have within yourself. It's how you learn about yourself, it's how you judge yourself. And coming from someone who considers themselves an introvert, I spend a lot of time within my own head and my own thoughts. So, mastering this form of communication would be very beneficial to my life. Um, I believe that your self talk is who you really believe you are. I think highly of myself, but I think I'm guilty, like a lot of people. We can be our own worst enemies. Um, so sometimes we can say negative things about ourselves within our intrapersonal communication. If you're having a bad morning and you're like, oh, this day sucks, it's gonna be a horrible day. Or if you had a job interview and you're like, oh, I don't think I did very well, that's negative self-talk, and we have got to work on that. I truly believe that what you think, you speak, what you speak, you become. So if I can start with what I think, which is that interpersonal communication within myself, and think positive things, I think that that would lead to speaking positive things, ultimately believing and becoming positive things. So, something that I take away from this class, that I'm going to really work hard on is my own self talk, my intrapersonal communication, how I speak to myself, how I learn myself, how I judge myself, and truly believe, what I become because of those words. Um, Next, I learned about nonverbal messages. Didn't know that was a form of communication. I did because I know that we can communicate certain things without opening our mouths, but did I know it was a thing that has, like a formal title? Nonverbal communication. Um, the phrase "if looks can kill," I think that describes me. I've always been told I could be very expressive when I'm listening, i.e., crazy faces. I know that I am, what's the word I'm looking for? Animated when I speak, especially about things that I'm passionate about. Um, so I learned that these things can be used to communicate messages. You can communicate messages with nonverbal messages, or you can accent or complement or even contradict your verbal messages. So when you're talking and you're using hand gestures and you're making facial expressions, those nonverbal messages allow you to also relay a message. And I also learned that not saying or doing anything at all sends a message. Not a very good one, but nonetheless a message. This is something that I'm going to take away from this class, and I'm going to try with all that's in me because I'm very stubborn. And when I get upset, I tend to not want to talk, not want to deal. So I use that method a lot to, not that I'm trying to hurt anybody or be mean, it's just my time to process whatever is going on or taking the time out to do whatever I need to do in order to have a verbal conversation with the person that I am ignoring or not speaking with. It's very childish. I'll say that I used to do that in my younger years. Now that I'm mature and I've lost friends and destroyed relationships, I've learned that not only does that show that you're an incompetent communicator, but it's very childish. Most children just like, I don't want to talk to you. But, you know, you live and you learn. That's something that I will also take away from this class. Um, I can talk a lot, but I just wanted to touch on those two main points because those were what were most important to me. Like I said, coming into this class, very minuscule understanding of what communication is. Um, Now, after taking this class, I understand how vast communication can spread, um, i.e., the forms of communication, the benefits of communication, and also the cultural differences. If this video could be longer, I would go into the culture differences in communication. That's a vast area all within itself. Um, it's just like, I'm gonna use one example and I'm gonna get out of here. The Asians, and I know we do it in America too, because I'm kind of iffy with my guests. It's like when you come in my house, you please take your shoes off. But in Asian culture, I know that it's proper to remove your shoes when you come into somebody's house. It can be considered like it's something that you're supposed to know. It can be offensive. It can be disrespectful. But however, in America, it's like you walk into someone's house and you just walk into someone's house and you don't consider, the respect mechanism that you're breaking when you walk into somebody's house with your shoes on. However, you try that in Asian culture and I'm not sure what happens, but I know it's considered very disrespectful. So yeah, I just want to say to the professor and the classmates, Professor, thank you for making this 6 weeks course so manageable for someone who works, has kids, has a life. I did enjoy this class. I'm sorry I couldn't touch on every little thing I learned, but I truly learned a lot. To the classmates in the class, I hope you did well, and I wish you all the best here and after. Thank you guys. Bye.